Oh, hello, Lucas.
Morning.
Oh, wait, can you hear me?
Yeah. How are you doing?
Perfect. Well, excellent. How about you?
Yeah, I'm not bad. I'm not bad at all.
That's good enough. That's good.
Like every time the time changes from summertime to wintertime, I feel great. So yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah, it's a thing here in Europe. Yeah, I'm still not used to that, to changing schedule.
Right. How long have you been here for?
Well, I passed the year like in August, so yeah, 14 months.
14 months. Okay. Yeah, cool. Yeah, it's a bit different. I mean, you know, I was born in Europe, but I'm still not used to it. So I think it's a disaster. Honestly. All right.
So, all right, let's wait for everybody else to join. So let me write some notes in the Slack channel. I will record the meetings. Um, Hello, Jeremy. Hi.
Well, are you from Paraguay, right?
Ecuador.
Okay, Ecuador. Sorry.
No, no, it's okay.
Yeah.
Hello, Assad.
So how do you like Europe?
Oh, I really love it. Yeah, it's quite chill. Yeah.
Okay. Do you go back to Ecuador every now and again?
No, I plan to do it next year. I wanted to go for Christmas, but my father is a doctor, and he told me that the COVID situation is barely contained over there, so it will be a mess. Yeah.
All right.
So it's better to wait a little bit more.
All right. Yeah.
Hello, Christian. Hello, partner.
Good morning. Yeah, I got the same advice regarding going back to South Africa. It was just like, do you want to come back to South Africa and put more pressure on the South African government and the healthcare system?
Basically.
Yeah. I was excited. I'm so excited.
No, this is gonna be super
really
fun.
Keen. I was having a look at HTML. It looks okay. I say this now, and bear with me. I'm saying this with a lot of arrogance and having just finished my individual project. Blah blah blah. It looks really easy, right?
Yeah, it is easy. Yeah, to be honest, there is no way to try to make it harder. Okay. I will try to make you write a good code because just like JavaScript, HTML has the double-edged sword that anybody can learn hyper fast, but you can start making a lot of a mess. And when you reach the group project, if you don't have good practices, And then I see teams colliding, and then we hear complaints that, hey, I was writing some code, and then somebody overwrite it. It's because everybody's making a mess. So yeah, I will try to focus. And there is one part that in this lecture that we call semantic tags, that it will be quite important to organize the code. I took the time to make a lot of picture examples. I wanted to make even more examples, but I ran out of time. But I think that we have enough for one lecture today.
Cool.
Hello, hermanos. I see 21 people already connected. People that I'm not greeting is because they don't appear on my monitor, so sorry. It was easy to greet everybody when we just start getting started. Hello, Sif.
Hello, Eduardo. Good morning.
Good morning. Hello, Saban as well.
I was having a look through the participants in one of the Slack channels. There are a couple of people who have left the course, right? Because there are some names there. There are at least 3 names there who I've never interacted with.
Yeah, I think there are Gabriela Morales. It escaped the other names. I remember that I think one Japanese girl called Makito, literally in the second day of the SDA, she got a job. That was super nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is somebody else that also got a job in the middle of the program. So, and she actually wanted to study while starting working, but no, the SDA is a full-time program. So we told her, no, you need to pick, and of course, pick the job.
Sure.
Yeah. So yeah, 2 because of the job, and the other 2, yeah, they're personal reasons. So yeah, it's Gabriela Morales, and there is one name. I think it's Lisa something, but I don't recall right now.
So four have not continued.
Yeah.
Okay.
So perfect. We are at 9. We are gonna wait 4 more minutes or reach 35 students, whatever happens first.
Everybody seems buzzing today, I think. Everybody seems so fresh. Jesus.
Yeah, it's like people enjoy the individual project at the end.
Right.
I think we
I enjoyed it being done this weekend.
Exactly.
I enjoyed not having to do anything on the weekend.
Yeah, no, to be honest, I'm quite happy that I saw my mentee reviews on Saturday. Yeah, I was happy because in last year I had one student that never finished, that even in the second review didn't finish the project. So yeah, that was somebody that was lagging behind. But at least in my case, everybody of my mentees finished the project, and the project is working, and so on and so forth. So yeah, I'm happy for that as well. So 32, hey, we're about to start now. Hello, Yang Wei. I can see you as well.
I see you.
Yeah, I see everything.
We'll keep that.
Hello, Puya.
Oh my God.
35. So, okay, shall we start now?
Yeah,
or do you? Perfect. Let's go. So let me share my desktop. There you go. Well, before, let me just close the other slides that I was making. Just give me 1 second. This is the documentation of the platform. I want to open the class, today's class. There you go. And this is the semantic slides I was mentioning to you, Tristan. So let me share the screen right now. There you go. Let me minimize, just 1 second. Let me minimize the Zoom window because it's quite messy too. Perfect. There you go. So welcome to the first class of the front-end development. We are going to start with HTML. Quite easy, to be honest. So I hope that this is going to be a quite relaxing week before we go to React in the next one, where it's going to be a little bit harder once again. So let's start reviewing what we tried to cover in this lecture. First, introduction that will cover the very basics. So if you don't know, if you don't even know what HTML means, don't worry. We're going to have the introduction just for that. For the ones that already have experience in web development, we are going to split the contents in two major blocks: the head tags for setting up the web page before we show it to the users, the body tags that is the ones that is the information that the user can see on the screen. Then, if we have time in this today, we are gonna show how to upload a website. Otherwise, we do that tomorrow. And what's next is it will be the homework for this afternoon, based on how much we covered today. As I mentioned on Friday, we have 2 days of buffer thanks to JavaScript being moved 1 week earlier. So I think that will be quite nice. So we can actually go slower and don't skip anything instead of just trying to cram up as much as possible in 2 weeks at the risk of making some concepts become unclear. So let's get started. Now with the introduction. What is a web page? Well, a web page is nothing more than a computer file sent via the internet from another computer called a server. And a web page is composed of three different, it's written in 3 different languages. HTML that contains the raw information of that you want to to show the user to the screen. For example, you don't send an image inside a HTML file. You just send a link to where the picture is hosted in a computer, and then your internet browser will open that link, download the image, and then show it on the screen. Same with information. If you write a paragraph, you don't send it with a red color with a different kind of font. You just send the raw text, and then using CSS, that is another file, it will take charge of making the text change color, change fonts, and so on and so forth. And finally, to add interactions, you use another files. In this type is JavaScript files that you have a little bit of experience right now. So how the first part, the orange one, is structured. Well, HTML file is composed of something called tags. Let's see a quick example. If you see this image right in the middle, you see the word grocery list in white, but it's surrounded by a weird pair of red things that we call tags. Let's analyze this one. So on the left, in the left, you have what is called an opening tag. You can see the brackets. Then inside you have the content of the tag. In this case is called H1. That means heading 1 or the main title. On the right, on the other hand, you see a similar tag, but you can notice that it has a slash. If you're seeing my webcam, I'm trying to make a slash movement. This one means that this is the end of the tag. So everything inside these 2 tags, the opening tag and the closing tag, will become the title of your web page. Let's see how that will look on the screen. As you can see the same grocery list on a white, on a big bold font. If you want to change the font style or change the color of the title or center the title, you cannot do that in HTML. You need a second file called CSS to add that design choices. And we're gonna cover CSS right after we finish this lecture, either today or tomorrow. You can actually start nesting tags for more complex examples. So if we see the code on the left, you can see that the li tag is surrounded by a weird old ol tag. So let's go from the middle to the outside part. First, the li tag means list item. So you can see that I have a grocery list on my right, and the ol tag means in this case order list. that's why you see even in the code you don't see the numbers 1, 2, and 3 on the browser. You see that my list has the correct number system, because this particular tag that we're gonna go into detail a little bit later takes care of adding this particular number, so you don't need to worry about that. And this is how actually, and this is the very basic concept of how to make a web page. A web page is composed of tags, and you can put tags inside tags to make more complex effects. And we're gonna see that into all these kinds of tags in this lecture. So now let's go a little bit more formal in the code. This is the correct way to build a web page. We use these 3 elements. The first one is the HTML tag. That is the main wrapper. Is the one that is the one that is started at the beginning and in the very end of your web page. And inside you have a head tag, and this head tag is a container for other tags. The head tag, as you can see the icon, I put a gear icon like the settings app in your phone. It's because the head tag takes charge of setting up the screen before you show it to the user. For example, you can define the language, and by the language, I mean, if we are showing a web page in Spanish, then we need to set the character set so you can render the tildes and all these characters, these special characters that the Spanish language has that the English doesn't. If we are setting up a page in Arabic, we need to set it up the text goes from left to right instead of left to right, and special characters and so on and so forth. In the head tag, you also specify to the web page, hey, I want to use a particular CSS file for graphic design. I want to download a specific font, and I want to add some particular code that I want to run before the user sees the page. For example, a Google Analytics tag, so you can track the users when they open the web page. And inside the body tag, you put the tags that you see on the screen. So let's open Visual Studio real quick to show a small example of this, make it in real time. I will create a file from scratch. I will put my browser on my Visual Studio on the left, and let me just delete this real quick. And let me put let me open a file here. I'll create a new file, index.html, and I will explain. If you know a little bit of HTML, you always see this index.html. I will explain that part, though, what is this convention is made when we reach the upload the website part. So I will open this one in the browser. Open REPL in Finder. Perfect. So right now I have a complete empty HTML file. You don't see anything. And I will start writing the HTML tag. So for example, HTML. I will save it. And I still don't see anything, because the HTML tag is only a container tag that explains to the browser, hey, everything that is inside it will be part of a web page, but we haven't write anything yet. So I will put the head tag. I will save. And of course, we still don't see anything. So we need to populate the tag with the tags with some information. In this case, I will use a title tag. Don't worry about memorizing the tags at this stage. I have a cheat sheet in the platform where you will see all these tags with a nice explanation of what they are for, and the code example of how to use it. I just want to right now in this stage, I don't want to memorize anything. I just want to understand where the tags, why some tags go in the head and some tags go in the body. That's the only mission right now. So I will put a title, for example, hello world. Well, I will save it. I will reload the page, and you notice something. Right now, my tab changed from being on title page. I will go back from index.html, so no title, to so the title of the tab. So this is why the title tag is for. So if you were thinking about the title means something that will appear in the screen, like in a Word document, no, there is a different tag for that, and we're gonna see that tag right now. So remember, I will put a comment here. Head tags configure the. Hey, I don't know why my cursor is jumping. Configure the screen. The web page before the user see it. So this is the head tags for. And now I will write as comment similar for the body. Body tags show info to the user on the screen. And let's see that. I will put the body tag. I will save it, and I don't see anything because the body tag is just a container. It's what is inside the body tag is the one that you can see on the screen. So I will put here. Let's see, grocery to-do list. We are not going to code anything yet, don't worry. So don't stress out about that if you have some kind of trauma after your individual project. But now that I wrote the H1 tag inside the body tag, you can see something finally appears on the screen. Just as I showed the example in the slides, let's do the grocery list. So for example, tomatoes. I will save it, reload the page, and see tomatoes. I will put potato. But how do I put the numbers? I want to see the numbers. If you want to see the numbers, you need to wrap it up these two tags inside another tag. In this case, the ordered list tag. So I will cut the closing tag and I will put it right at the end of the list that I want to. So if I reload the page, now I can see the numbers. And this is the first example that we're going to see today. Now let's continue. If at this stage it's still not clear how the HTML tag and the head tag and the body tag compose a web page, I think that we can use a visual analogy for this in case somebody is still a little bit lost about the code. So for example, if we have a web page, we go behind the scenes, we can see that we can think of the HTML tag as a big box that in size contains smaller boxes. These boxes are the head tag and the body tag. You still cannot see anything on the screen right now. If we check about the head tag, it contains some tags. And if you can see on the bottom, there is an icon of an eye cross. It's because this I'm trying to imply that these tags are not visible from the screen. But the body tags are visible for this in the screen. So if I go back to the code editor for 1 second, you can see that the reason that I choose to make a box analogy is because you can actually start closing the tags in your visual editor like that. Like now I close the body tag, I can close the head tag, and I can close the HTML tag. And this is an analogy that I really want you understand today. A web page is basically a bunch of tags that inside contain more tags that in turn contain even more tags to make a more complex project. So, and that's how you build web pages in HTML. Let me skip this one because we already saw that one. Yes, let me go quite clear. Tag. Remember, closing tags, opening tags, and everything is full of tags. Well, we saw a little example of the title to set the name of your web page, but let's see the most used what other head tags are available. The first one, the title tag, we just saw it. Is the title the brace title close brace, your title itself, and then you close the tag. The style tag is designed so you can write some CSS code inside your web page, thus allowing you to change the design of the web page. Let's make a quick example of that one in Visual Studio Code. For example, if I write the style tag, and for example, I will change the background Don't worry, again, just like with the HTML tags, don't worry about the CSS. We are gonna see that tomorrow. This is just an example so we can see something different on the screen. Background, color, oh, sorry, I need to tell the which part of the, which tag I need to change the design. I will change the design of the body tag, background color, and we'll say the background color is red. I know that it's gonna be super tacky, and I want to be I want to make my list look yellow. So OL will be background color, yellow, and I want that the items itself. I will paint the items a little bit later. So I will save the page, I will reload, and if everything is okay, let's hope that everything is okay. Yeah, we can see that our web page changed color. We're gonna go into detail in CSS tomorrow. Just don't stress about this part. I just want to tell you that if you want to write some design code, in this case CSS, inside a web page, you use the style tag for. Now, the next tag, I will not go full screen right now. The next tag is the link tag. And what is the link tag allows us? Well, if you are started to see this, you probably start noticing something. We're trying to write both the text information here and the graphic design information here. And and to be honest, that's super messy because if your file is become super big, imagine having, I don't know, 100 lines of code, and some code is here for the information, some code is here for the design. It will be messy. It will be much better if we organize your code into separate concerns. The ideal project organization will be all my role information without design is here. So by role information, I mean, let me go back here. My role information, I only mean this text, the one is in white. And then instead of having the graphic design here, having in a different file, that will be much better. And the JavaScript for adding logic should also be in a separate file. And you can do that thanks to the link tag. So if I write the link tag, for example, link, and we need to specify which type of file it is. In this case, it's a style sheet. Again, right now you don't need to memorize this. Everything is in the sheet. And then we also need to tell where is the file located. So href, and I will tell, for example, I don't have a file here, but I have a backup file that I put on the platform. Let me open the platform real quick. I put a CSS file just so you can start testing starting today. So if I use this link and I put it here, and I close my tag, 1 second. I will close this one. And I will delete the style. I already deleted the style that I had before. If I reload the page, perfect. Now you can see some design. In this case, this file put me a background color in the back. And actually, this is something cool about this file that I just added. You can see that in the heading, there is a word heading 1 put there. In the OL, you can see the word ordered list, and inside the LI, you can see the word list item. I create this file just for you guys, so when you start coding your first web pages in HTML, you can see where everything goes in the screen. So for example, if I write some text, I will put a p tag and say, hello, how are each of you? I think it's grammatically incorrect, but I don't care right now. You can see that the p tag means paragraph. So we're going to cover those all these details a little bit later, but right now we are going to focus that we just cover the title tag to see the name of the file on the browser tag or in the title screen, the style tag to write CSS code for design purposes inside the web page, but we don't do that in production because that's quite messy. I just do it when I want to show a quick example. I want to do a quick experiment. I want to see how this title looks in green. I write it over there, but I don't want to create a separate file and put it on a server. But for real production, I use the link tag to separate the files into the HTML file and the CSS file. So let me show another example of the link tag instead of using a file over the server, I want to put a CSS file right next to my index HTML. So let me make the browser, this window a little bit bigger and this one a little bit thinner. There you go. So we can see both. I will put a second file. This thing that I'm doing right now, we're gonna cover into quite detail when we enter the CSS, but now that we are covering the tags, I just want to show you real quick. So we have the background before in red. We are now changing to blue, background color, blue. And our list was yellow, or L. So I will make it green, background color, or purple. And to combine these two files, I can use the link tag. Just give me 1 second. To combine these two files, there you go. Yeah. And let me put a space so you can see it. Perfect. Let me delete this one. There you go. Let me organize a little bit. Two spaces. There you go. So to connect this style file and the index, you just mentioned, just put a dot. You put a dot and a slash, and then Visual Studio Code will send which files are located next to each other. In this case, I want the style one. And if I reload the page, I can see that the background become blue, and the list become purple. And you saw that the gray background color disappeared because I replaced the file that was hosting on over the server for the one that is hosted is located right next to the index file. Now we talk about how to connect the graphic design file to the HTML file. You can do exactly the same with JavaScript. You can you can use the script tag to do exactly the same. You can write you can either you can write a script tag, for example, script tag, script, and write some code right in the middle. So we're gonna see that into detail when we reach JavaScript. I don't want to stress you out right now because this one has a small difference with the CSS one. For the CSS one, you saw that if you want to write the code inside the web page, you use this one. And if you wanted to link a file, a external file, you use this one. So for the design part, you need two different tags. But the JavaScript file, the tag is only one that can handle both cases. Because that's a quite a special case, I want to cover that into detail when we reach JavaScript. Because if I try to explain it right now, and it's quite messy to be honest, and then you don't see JavaScript until 3 to 4 days, then everybody will forget by then, and then we need to repeat the tag. So I will reserve this one for when we reach JavaScript. And finally, this one, I will not do the example in the code. The meta tag allows to pass additional information. For example, what kind of information we want to set up before we show the information on the screen. So for example, we want to set the character set in case as the example that I mentioned before, if we are writing a web page in Spanish, you want to be sure that the browser has all the special characters like Spanish characters, for example, it's called ñ, it's a special N, or a special A called tilde A in Spanish, and so on and so forth. So if you want to be sure that you have these characters available for the user, you can use the meta tag for this one. Again, the cheat sheet that I put in the platform has all the information that you need, so you can take your time to browse it up, and also has links for the official documentations if you want to expand into all the details of the meta tag. So with that in mind, let's go to the body tags, because this is the one that actually defines the look of your web page. And this is the ones that we're going to spend most of the time in this lecture. So I haven't taken, I haven't made the count, But I think that there's not more than 10 head tags in total in the entire HTML documentation. But the body tags, they have to be around 100 to 200. There are so many tags in the body. So to make it easier to learn, two things. Number one, I will classify them. So instead of seeing everything in disorder, I want to make some classification and divide it into 4 groups: grouping tags, content tags, interactive tags, and other tags that are basically anything that cannot fit into the 3 groups. The grouping tags are the ones that are designed to just to hold information by themselves, and they don't contain. They're only designed to group information. So, for example, if we go back to an example of our to-do list, I will delete the design so it doesn't look that ugly. Let me just give me 1 second. I will minimize that. And if we put the web page example on the right, okay, if I delete the list items, we can see that the ordered list by themselves is basically useless. And in fact, maybe if I write something like tomatoes, and I write it down, there is no bullet or number, because the OL tag only serves the only purpose of the OL tag is to contain list items. So by themselves, this tag is useless. So it needs to have information inside to make it useful. So that's a grouping tag. Another example is the div tag. I will put hello, and I see the text, but this one is designed for holding information. So for example, if I can put a div inside a div, I save, and you can see the intention of the div tab is to group information, and we're gonna see that into detail a little bit later. The content tags are the ones that actually hold the useful information for the user. So in the OL example, and the list item, this is the one that is actually information on the screen. And if I re-render the page, you can see the word and also the number of the list item. So this is the important part. We have tags like content tags for showing info on screen. And we have grouping tags just to hold other tags. You may ask why do we need actually to create these tags if I just can copy the information here and put it here and render the page, and at least I have the bullet, or at least I saw something. The reason is when your project starts to grow bigger, you really need to start organizing the information. So for example, if I show you a full web page, let me open a real big project, a bigger web page. Just 1 second. To see the importance, the benefits of having nice groupings or grouping the information quite well. Let me see. I don't have this one here. Well, I will copy the example on the break. That is okay, and we can see that a little bit later. But if you have a big web page, the grouping tags will help you organize your information into logical groups, because otherwise your code will be a spaghetti full of lines of code, and there is no organization at all. The content tags, as I mentioned before, are the ones that actually show the information in the screen. The interactive tags are the ones that the interactive tags, like for example, a button, are the ones that a user can click or otherwise interact with. For example, an input box where you can write your name or your email to subscribe to a newsletter. So we have a lot of tags just for handle user interface elements. And finally, we're going to cover a little bit later the other tags that are basically the the leftovers, the ones that cannot be categorized in any of these groups. So let's go into more details into each kind of groups. Let me finish the animation real quick. Okay, so the first group of tags is the grouping tags. And I really like to use an analogy of a folder. You may ask why or what, and what I'm trying to explain with a folder. Well, imagine that you are making a homework for your school and you need to deliver something for your professor. You know that you can grab a pen or a marker and start writing here, literally inside the folder. You know that it can happen, but people will see, number one, they will say either you are crazy or you really don't care about about your professor. So you just start to writing inside the folder. Yeah, that will be crazy. What you actually need to do is you write your document in a piece of paper. And if your homework is quite big, you start using multiple pages. And at the end, you put the pages inside the folder. And that's how actually you present a decent homework in your school. Same thing with HTML. We have tags designed for group information that the only purpose of these tags is to hold information. They're not designed to show anything on the screen. It's just to hold information, just like a folder. And we have tags designed just to hold to show information on the screen, just like the LI tag. So let's see a couple of examples of the tags that are grouping tags and the ones that are grouping tags, like the folder analogy, and which one are content tags like this paper analogy. Let me open the platform. In the platform, we have this HTML CSS sheet. You click it, you will open a spreadsheet, and you will see the hex tags that we were mentioning a couple of minutes before. Let the page load real quick. There you go. These were your hex tags. You can see a super big explanation on the JavaScript part. Don't worry about the script tag. Remember, we are gonna see that in detail when we reach the JavaScript part of the course. And then we have the body grouping tags, the div, the span, the header. We're gonna see all these ones today. We already see the ordered list for the bullet points. And then we have the body content tags that are actually the ones that show information on the screen. We have the headings that we saw quickly right in the beginning. We have the list item that we already started to see a lot today. And we're gonna cover the other ones today as well with visual examples. So don't worry about that. I just wanted to show you that you have all the information for getting started in this file. We're gonna start building a project with you here as well. So let's go back to the slides. With this out of the way, we can go to the next type of elements. Before we keep going to the grouping tags, we want to show I want to show something. Let me go back to the HTML code. Let me open the desktop where I have my file. And I open the index. Just give me 1 second. I will delete everything but the title. I will put the web page on the right. Okay, you can see the title with a nice blue background, but you will see something that is different. In this case, I put span. This is another content tag called span. And if I put a grocery to do list and I save it, you see something different. First, it's not highlighted in bold like the other one. That's because the H1 is for the title. But you see something different. That the background, in this case, the blue line across this one, doesn't reach the border of the screen. If you compare the heading one, you can see that the blue background that is surrounding it reaches the border of the screen. But in this one, the border finishes as soon as the word list is over. So this is something that I want to show you. The HTML tags can appear on the screen in two different ways. And something that we call the display type. So for example, oh, just one second. I was using the wrong tag for this example. Let me just go one again. Let me show the example over again. My bad. Okay, now we can forget about the text size and we can focus only on the words. And now it's much better explained. Let me just zoom a little bit so you can see it better. You can see that the words are in the same font size, the same style. Both has this blue border that I put on purpose on this CSS file so you can see the difference on the screen. But you can see that the first one covers the entire width of the web page. So for example, if I extended my screen, you can see that the blue line is extending all over the place, but the other one doesn't. And that's because HTML tags that are visible on the screen have two major display properties that are called block and inline. So as you can see, the div tags cover the entire width of the screen. And if you try to add another one, let me show you in the code. If I copy this tag and put it right below this one, and I reload the page, you can see it takes the entire space of the screen. But if I copy the span one, you will see that it goes right next to that. And if I copy another one, because I think that there is no space on the web page, it goes below. But if I make the screen a little bit bigger, you can see that it will start trying to fill the space on the screen. Something that doesn't happen with the div tag because it will always take the entire width. So let's see how this is visually represented. Let me just show this quick animation. As you can see, the div tag, the display block. Sorry, this is not the div. Let me add this information. Div process display block, and span has a display inline. I will explain this part I'm just putting right now. So as you can see, the div tag covers the entire screen because it has a display type block, and the span actually takes only the space that is needed and goes to the next line when the space is full, because it has a display type inline. In the cheat sheet that I put it here, we have a column. We have a column for the display type, so you can see that which one will behave like the div one and will take the entire screen, and which ones will actually only occupy a small space. So, for example, to confirm that, I will write a paragraph and I will write a label, and you will see that this one will cover the entire screen, and this one doesn't. Let's see if that is true. Just give me 1 second. Let me delete the screen. Let me start it blank. So I will put a paragraph. Hello. I will save it. It takes the entire screen, and the label. Hello. This one doesn't. So as you can see, depending on the display type, the HTML tags can cover the entire screen or only the space that they actually needed. So let's go back a little to the cheat sheet, and we can start checking this out. So for example, the headings takes the entire space, the paragraph takes the entire space, the list item takes the entire space. I think that it looks a little bit blurry. Just 1 second. There you go. So the anchor, that is the link, the ones that you use to create hyperlinks, is also in line. The label is in line. The image and the video text are in line. So let's continue seeing the examples. We saw that one already. Let me just skip this one animation real quick. We saw the examples in Visual Studio Code. Now, let's go to the concept of the semantic building blocks. We already explained that we can use the deep tag to group information. For example, this one. You will see a nice border around the element, and you can build an entire web page just by using divs. But the problem with that is that it will make your code messy. Why? Because the deep tag by itself doesn't tell me anything. It's only a generic container, just like a box or an empty folder, but doesn't have any information about that. So if I use an analogy again, it's like having a couple of papers inside a folder, but the folder doesn't tell me, the folder doesn't have any information about what the file contains. So you need to open the folder just to understand what is inside it. And if you have a big project, imagine if you have hundreds and hundreds of folders, you will need to open each one just to try to understand what information is inside the papers. That will be super annoying. So imagine if somebody actually said, hey, maybe we can actually start adding meaning to the folders so they're easy to understand. So for example, this one will have a label like introduction. This one can have the title ending. And then you will understand, oh, maybe this is a movie script or something. And you can see that the information has start to have its own organization. So yeah, this is what we're going to cover next in the semantic tags. Let's see an example about this. So there is many tags, semantic tags, but we're going to focus on the 6 major ones. The header, the section, the aside, the article, the footer, and the navigation. And to make the example easier to understand, we are going to use color coding. So we're going to use red for the header, orange for the section, yellow for the aside, green for the article, blue for the footer, and purple for the navigation bar. So, okay, what is a header? The header, by something important, don't confuse the header with the head tag. Let me just literally create a new slide for that because this is super important. Don't confuse head and header. They look quite similar. Actually, there is only 3 letters. There is only 2 letters that make it different. But remember, the head tag is to set up information before the user can see it, and the header tag is a grouping tag that is designed to group the information that is the top part of a particular content. So let's see an example of this one in action. In this example, I used the website Airbnb that probably you have checked sometime, maybe sometime. And we have on the top bar we have the logotype, we have the date of a example travel schedule, and some buttons on the buttons on the right. So this is my header. Is the top part of my web page. The top part of my web page that contains important information. But this is something important. If I add more boxes around the web page, so we can see something else that inside the left box, there is also an important area that can be considered a header because it's like the initial part of the entire left block. So this one, for example, is also a header because the header tag is not only the initial part of the web page, is the initial part of a major piece of the web page. In this case, the second red square is the header of this big gray square. And if you notice each one of these ones, you probably can see where I'm going. You can group these items together into different tags, and inside these groups, each room, we can also add headers here as well. So you can see the header tag is designed to group the initial part of either the entire web page or each section or item of the web page. So that will make it a little bit easier to understand, because, for example, if you were looking the code of this element as soon as you see the head tag, you know that where the first part that the user start reading appears on the screen. If you design this element only using divs, for example, something like that, imagine that you have a div, and inside the div, you have more divs and something like this. You can see the grouping. The divs by themselves doesn't tell me anything, but if instead of using the div tag, I use the header tag, that will be a much better organized. 1 second, I think I closed this one too early. This one goes here. There you go. You can see that it's more organized because you start to add meaning to the web page. So, for example, the header, and I still close this one back. This close here. Just 1 second. This close here, and this close here. There you go. There you go. And let me close these ones and let a little bit more space or make it easier to read. There you go. So yeah, that's why you use the header tag. So you can tell your fellow developers that this is the initial part of the information of your web page. And now let's go to the next one, the section tag. In this case, this one on the left is a section. And what is a section? The section tag in the documentation says is used to define each major part of the navigation of your web, each important section itself of the web page. So if I use an example, for example, a sport website, and you see they start with, for example, soccer, and they have all information regarding soccer, that will be a section. And then if they go to another sport, for example, baseball, in the same page, that will be a different section. And if they have, for example, I don't know, Formula One, there will be another section. Let me see if I can find a nice web page just to show this example on the screen. So let me open the browser real quick. So for example, this one with the big headlines will be one section. This is next block, it will be another section. This one with the small headlines will be another section. For example, let me see if well, this web page goes to the infinite with this style. Let me see if I, for example, use CNN as an example. So, for example, in this one, this one can be the header, and then this can be a section. This is this block with a smaller news can be another section. And I saw, for example, you actually even see the word section right here. So, for example, we are entering. This is the latest news, and this is the block for the latest news, one section, and then other news goes for in a different section. You actually can see a division between the sections. There you go. And then you have another section for watching videos. That's another section. And then a section just for photograph. This is a nice example of how to divide your web page by major blocks of content. And this is a section just for advertising, another block of another section, and so on and so forth. So you can have each time that you need to divide your web page in different sections, you use the section tag. And you saw that in this one, why I don't highlight this one as a section as well, because it kind of makes sense. It's a different part of the website. Well, there is a different tag just for this particular case. And let's see it right now. This one on the right is the aside tag. Let's see what is happening. The map is not the map by themselves is not an important part of the web page. The map is secondary to the main feature of the website, that it is the booking reservation here on the left. So for example, this one that costs 740 crowns per month is right in the middle. Let me just escape here so I can use the mouse. So for example, this one, this booking, let me just use this color. So this particular booking that costs 700 crowns is right here in the middle of the map. So as you can see, the aside tag is a secondary tag to complement the information that is on the web page. Another example that I can make is, for example, I think in the web page of National Geographic, if you actually open an article, you can see the main article right on the right in the middle, but on the left there is a small column that actually has factoids. For example, if we're talking about a white elephant, in the text is about the hunting of the white elephant, blah blah blah, and all the main information is in the middle. On the left, there is a small column with a bunch of factoids. So, for example, the first sighting of the white elephant was in what year, in which countries is the animal lives, how many are actually living right now, and so on and so forth. That will be secondary information that can be put on the site. So, for example, if I delete them, if I were to delete the map on the map from the web page, I can still navigate. Of course, it will not be as nice as without the map, but the aside tag is for secondary content that is not totally obligatory to have it on the screen. It's just a nice complement to the sections of the website or a particular section. Now let's go to the article tag itself. If we know that the major block on the left is a section, inside a section, we know that the stays in New York was the header, but these particular blocks, that are actually the information that we are actually looking for, are the articles. If we go to the perfect example is CNN, where if we go to back to CNN, literally each one of these smaller blocks, each of these news is an article. Not an article per se of a news article, but literally a piece of information that is self-contained inside a section. In the example of Airbnb, each booking item, literally each booking item is an article. So don't think of the article tag as a news article, but as an individual block of content inside a web page that makes sense on their own. For example, this booking information is different from this particular booking information. I think I can scroll the page a little bit. Yeah. So each of these individual blocks are articles, and this will be your main navigation blocks to create a web page. Now let's go to the footer tag. The footer tag is the opposite of the header. Instead of being the top part of the navigation, is the bottom part of a navigation block. In this case, this is the footer for the entire web page. But as you could probably start thinking about it, inside the section, you probably can see that these numbers at the bottom are also a footer. And if you start thinking hard about this inside the article, there is probably another footer, in this case, this one. So in this particular example, this will be the header. I will put it in red. This will be the footer. And this just is the content itself that can be another tag like paragraph, list item, and so on and so forth. And the intention to have this organized in this way is to try to avoid having hundreds of divs over divs over divs over divs. So for example, if I put a footer here, and I put a paragraph like here, hello. Now you can start making more sense. And you can see that the header goes at the top, the content is somewhere in the middle, and then the footer goes in the back. And if I change this div to an article, We have one div more. Let me just close it. There you go. Perfect. Now you can have the perfect grouping. So your article element has a header and a footer. And this is much easier to read than having the same content just written using, I will gonna use divs just to illustrate the same concept. Div here, then a div here, and then another div here. And this is a common mistake that many developers do all the time. So if I render this on the screen, regardless of the graphic design, by the way, forget about the colors. You can see the article is contained in the header, and the header itself has a paragraph and a label, and then there is another paragraph floating in the middle, and then a footer. And in the div is the same. You have a div, and then you have another div, and then you have a paragraph floating in the middle, and then another div. But you can see something that this is harder to read because everything is a div, and then you don't understand anything what it means. But in the article, you can see that the header, okay, this is the main the information on the top. This is the information in the footer. This is make it easier to read when you're start development your web pages. So that's why we use the semantic tags. Let me just finish this example real quick. And now let's go to the final semantic block that we're gonna see today. This is a navigation tag. The navigation tag, nav tag or navigation tag is designed for the major block of navigation in your website. In this case, let me just click here. 1 second. Yeah. In this case, the major block of navigation is the menu. So because with this one, if you click on the three lines on the top right, this is where you can go back to the home screen and go to your settings or change from, for example, for Airbnb to only tour guides and so on and so forth. So this is your major navigation block. But if you see the buttons here, you may think that this is also our navigation options because they look like buttons that you can use to navigate the site. But there is a warning here that it can be in contrast to the other semantic tags that we just saw today. There can be only one navigation tag in the entire page. And what is that? Because the screen readers for people that has vision issues or need some kind of computer assistance, the software needs to know where is the main navigation block. So our users that are using screen readers can quickly go back to the home screen or major sections of your website. So that's why we need to have only one nav tag per web page. It's because of this particular issue. You can write 20 navigation tags in your website, and the website will actually appear on the screen. But you will make the life miserable of a certain group of users. So please, even if you can use 20 nav tags in your web page, follow the rules and only use one for the entire file. If you want to add secondary navigation links, you can use the ordered list with list items to create a similar effect and don't affect the rest of the users. Well, after going to the theory of the semantic tags, let's go to the content tags. And right after that, we are going to start building an exercise inside a live coding exercise right here. So let's just finish with these ones before we go to Visual Studio Code for most of the lecture. So these are the most used content tags. The content tags I have it divided into two major groups. The text related task and the multimedia related task. So let's go for the first five. The heading tag, that is the H1 to the H6 tags, are for titles. So the H1 is your main title, the H2 will be your subtitle, your H3 will be the subtitle, and so on and so forth. I can illustrate this quite nice if we go to Microsoft Word or similar documents. Let me just open this one real quick. A new document. This is a nice analogy to a Word document. Let me open this one. So, for example, this is my thesis about the digital water. By the way, this was a real topic in Cotejo and a thesis of Cotejo. Super weird, but interesting. This is my main title, and then I have an introduction. That will be a title level 2, and then research, findings, and conclusions. This also will be headings. I will put a number here so you can see the level of the heading. Level 2, level 2, level 2, H1. So I will use an analogy so you can see the resemblance with the HTML. And for example, if I want to make a subtitles inside the, I will do some indentation as well so I can make it easier to see, but sorry. And if, for example, inside the research, there is many research methods, so I can make a research according to KTH. This will be a subtitle of the research category. So it's another title. We can say the research according to Karolinska. We put another subtitle. And then I just write the information about here, blah, 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 some research. Some words here and some words here. And there you go. And this is the perfect way to visualize the difference between the heading. The H1 is used for your main title in the entire web page. Each major section of your web page will be a heading number 2, and then inside your section you need to further break it down into smaller titles and smaller sections. You can use these H3 tags. You can go until level 6. But word of caution about this one. If your website needs more than 3 or maybe 4 subdivisions, at that point you probably need to refactor your website because it's probably super complex. In a real thesis document that has 100 pages, it makes sense that you have titles, subtitles, and then more subtitles, and then more subtitles because it's a super deep content. But the web page is not as the content on a website is not as complex as a research thesis for a PhD student. Articles are more lightweight to read, so you never should go after 3 or maximum H4 heading tags. If your information needs to have more titles, you probably need to sit down and think, how can I break down this particular web page into smaller web pages so our users are more happy to read the content? So this is all about the headings. Now the paragraph. The paragraph is your normal, building block for literally writing normal text on the screen. So each time that you just write normal text, you use the P tag. It's literally your normal text tag. It will be basically, if I go back to Microsoft Word, it will be basically each time that you delete everything and you just go normal and without any style, this is the paragraph tag. So for normal text, use the paragraph. The list item, we saw that the list item here, and let's go back to Visual Studio Code just 1 second. I will copy this one. Potatoes. I put this one here. I will reload the page. So this is the list items. There are content, in this case for a list. But if you want to make it the list numbered, you actually put it inside this will be the group tag. Again, I will put the comments. This is a group tag. And this is a content text tag. And this is also a content tag. And by the way, another small warning, even even if this works and you can see a bullet point, if you actually want to make a normal bullet point list, there is a tag for that that is called the UL, that is unordered list. Well, let me put it here. I will render, and you can see that it wraps around the list items. So this is useful. So for example, if you have many list items, for example, imagine that you have so many list items that they basically covering the entire web page like this. It will be annoying as hell to navigate this, to modify the code in this page, because this takes so much space. But if you wrap it up around the UL tag, sorry for explaining so fast, sorry. If you wrap it up in the URL tag, you just can close it when you don't use it, and that's it. So you can see how useful it is to actually group information in the correct tags, because it makes your life easier as a developer. So please do that. Don't never put the list items without a wrapping tag, either on the UL or the OL. Oh, sorry. Hey, why it didn't change? OL, yeah, that another list. Yeah, something happened here. I will check it out later because it should probably put the numbers here. But anyways, let's go back here. So this is the list item that you saw it. The label is used for it has a special meaning. The label tag is used for the input forms when you're trying to make a formulary in the web. So for example, if we go to the SDA platform as an example, let me go, no, 1 second, the SDA project, let me log out. So for example, this one, the word email in bold text is the label tag, and this one is the input tag. So you always put a label next to an input to tell the user what the content of the email of the form is. I see some designers actually do this. For example, they put the title inside the input, but the problem is that as soon as you click here and start typing, you totally forget what was I writing about. Imagine that you saw the word email here, and you were about to write your email, and you press your first character, and then you got a phone call, and get out of the computer, and then when you go back, and if you don't see the email tag, then you don't remember what is this input form. But if you see the title here, the label tag, you will understand what is this email form, is this input field is for. And finally, the last one, the anchor. This is the one that you actually know as a link tag to create hyperlinks. And just like with the header a couple of slides ago, let me just create a new blank slide. This is super important that this to avoid confusions. I don't know, to be honest, when they created the language, why they create names, so confusing names. So for example, we have the first example. Header, head versus header. Can somebody remind me what was the difference between these two tags? Somebody dares to mention it? Go ahead.
Head will not be in user's control. It will be even before user start writing the web page.
Mm-hmm. And the header?
Header will be reflected in the body of the web page.
Correct. So yeah, the content that we put inside the head is not visible, and the content that is the header is usually is visual. Is first, as Megat said, is visual on the screen. This one is not visual on the screen. This one does, and in addition, this is for the top part of each major part of your website. So for example, in the entire web page, this is the first header. In this particular section, this is the header, and for this particular article, this is the header. So we were here. So this is the first group of confusing tags, or that looks quite similar, but they're totally different. And then let's go to the second example. I will explain this one. The link tag, sounds like it's for making links in the web page, but it's not for links. It's just to import files in the head before the web page is loading. So for example, when we were getting the CSS file, we were using the link tag. And if you want to create a normal hyperlink inside your web page, you use this one. Why this tag doesn't call import and this one is called link? To be honest, I don't know. Sometimes the developers are people that are super intelligent, but at the same time, they're incredible stupid, and they like to create this kind of confusion. Because to be honest, I honestly don't know. For me, it will be easier to call this tag import, because this is what we are making with the link tag. We are importing files into your web page, and this one should be for links. But this is the correct way to make the content, guys. You use the link to import files, and you use the A to make links. So is it still confusing, or is it a little bit better, or I need to explain a little bit more? It's clear the difference between the link tag and the A tag?
Yeah.
Clear.
That's something you got to learn, I guess.
Yeah, it's something that you need to get used to. But so yeah, it's kind of weird that to make links, you use the A, and to import files you use the link. So this is to be honest, it's a really messy name system, but this is the name system that we use, so we need to get used to that. So, but don't worry about that. With practice, they will become second nature. And I actually write these warnings in the chat sheet. So, for example, if I go to the description of the link tag, I actually write this one, this warning in the end. For the tag that allows you to click on words or buttons to navigate to other pages, use the A tag. And I think that I wrote the same warning in the anchor, in the parentheses. I will fix this one. This is not links, it's hyperlinks. There you go. This is the correct name. And I will put the same warning. It was not here, but I will put this one, the warning here right now. To import files, link into the head, use the link tag. There you go. I just added this warning in particular. And let's continue. I think there is something in the chat. Let me just see it. And sorry if you wrote. Okay, no, nothing important. There you go. Let's continue. So now let's focus on the multimedia tags. So let's go to the the image tags. You can still hear me, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. So let's focus on the multimedia tags. And these ones are the three most common tags: the image one, the video tag, and the canvas tag. I will ask, does somebody knows what is the canvas tag? I hear silence. Nobody? I will explain it, don't worry, but I want to know if somebody actually knows about that one.
No.
Where we can
No.
draw triangles, circles, shapes, figures or something.
Yeah, it's quite related to that one. Congratulations. I will go into the more technical explanation. The canvas tag is not only for drawing charts or something. The technical explanation of the canvas tag is a special window that you can put inside a web page that allows you to draw high performance graphics. And what I mean by high performance graphics is that the canvas tag can be used by your video card inside your computer to draw complex animations. In this case, I'm showing a chart, but also I remember that a couple of at the beginning of the SDA, somebody posted a picture of a Pac-Man game in the Google, literally in the Google search. That video game was built using Canvas because you can move the graphics on the screen quite fast without any problems. So that's what the canvas tag is used for. And let me go. Okay. Before we go to the interactive tags, let's let's take a break right now because actually it's 10, 20. And after the break, if that okay, we are gonna start making a small web page example using the curriculum vitae, just like I showed in the. Let me open the kickoff. Let me open the kickoff of the SDA. Just 1 second. Let me find it. Keynotes. Will be a kickoff. 1 second. After the break, I will start teaching about the semantic tags and the content tags that we just saw right now using, we're gonna build this one from scratch. So is that okay if we take a 15 minutes break?
Yeah, cool.
Perfect, then see you in 15.
See ya.
Yep.
And I will put a timer for the rest of us that are here.
Google to the rescue.
Oh yeah, it's so useful to be honest. Yeah.
They have our data in return, so that's okay.
Yeah, it's a small price to pay.
Yeah, I don't care anyway. Okay, see you later.
Yeah, see ya. So we are at 1 minute before we start. So let's wait for everybody's here. And assume that. So yeah, let's wait until everybody's here and the timers end. So okay, time is up. So let's go back in. Let me close this one. We are gonna start by, as I told you before, we are gonna do the code session or live session of this first exercise. Let me show you how it looks when it has all the, including the design. Let me reload the page. Second, public index doesn't appear. And for some reason, my computer is not. There you go. This is how it looks once you have the design applied. We're gonna build the first part today that is only the structure of the information. And tomorrow we start. Well, tomorrow or the next day, depending on how we finish, we'll start with the design. So for today, we'll only go from this to. I don't know why it doesn't reload. No, let me just open it with Finder. Open with Chrome. Okay. Okay. So this is how it looks with. This is how it should supposed to look without the design. Just give me 1 second. Custom CSS. Is this the file that is opening? Let me see 1 second. The script, the link doesn't have a. Weird. I cannot see my changes. Oh, okay. There is no autosave in this in my computer. My bad. So without the design, it should, yeah. Without the design, it looks like this. But we don't, because I don't want to spend a day and making you build something as horrible as this. At least we're gonna use this file. Let me save it. There is no autosave in this computer, so at least looks kind of decent. You can see, where the elements are located. So let's get started. Because the meeting is being recorded, this is the perfect point. We can use the break as a perfect cutting point to actually know where the coding live session started. So we're gonna build this from scratch. So I will open a new window, and I will also open a new project in Visual Studio Code. New window. I will create a folder in, for example, in my documents. My folder, and we'll call it CV. This will be my project. Now my project is empty, and I create a new file called index.html. Even if I'm gonna explain this part in the upload of your website part, index is the equivalent of main.java in Java. Is when a server is opening a web page, it needs to know where is the entry point or the first file that it should be loaded. So if it finds a file called index.html, that will be automatically the first file that the machine will open. So this is our starting point. So we start by creating the first tag, as I told you, the HTML tag. And then we create the head tag. If we open this on the browser, we will Finder, and we'll open it with Chrome. I will use Chrome instead of Safari this time because Chrome allows me to make the window, the browser window smaller, so you have more space on the code editor itself. And I will close this bar because we don't need it for this tutorial. So this is the head tag. Right now, I will only put the title and the title tag. Remember, title tag. Title in this case will be I will save, I will reload the page, and you can see that the browser changed from index.html to curriculum vitae, the title. Perfect. Because we want to have some visual cues of what are building along the way, I will include the CSS file I will tell you about, called the training wheels. So I will use the link tag. Remember, you use the link tag to import files, not to make it hyperlinks. And I will put this is what type of file I want to import. I want to import a style sheet. Style sheet. Style sheet. There you go. And href means the resource. Where is the resource located? And the H is for hyperlink reference. So yeah, all nomenclature is a fancy word to say where is the file located in the server. In this case, the file is located in http://sda project se/training wheels.css. And if everything is okay, I reload the page. Okay, now it says training wheels, so I know that the file, the CSS file is correctly imported. Now let's get started. Let me see the curriculum, just the final project. Let me see it as with all the design. Just 1 second, so we can guide ourselves a little bit better. So remember, the first tab is the final project, and the second tab is the one we are building from scratch. So I can see, if I go full screen, I can see that I have an introduction part with my name, a picture, a subtitle. I have a small introduction paragraph. Then I have, remember the keyword, section, a section for my work experience and a 3-column layout. Then I have another section for education. And this is another section for contact information. But remember, this is my last section. This is the last element of my web page. So even if I can use the tag section, the tag footer will be better suited for this particular job. And this section, the introduction section, if you remember the semantic tags, the best way to use a tag for that one will be the header tag. So let's build it by using the semantic lessons that we just learned a couple of minutes ago. So I will start this code session with my first body tag, body. And I will start with the header. I will save it. And I have a header. Perfect. I forgot to mention that there is another other tags. In this case, to make a comment tag. A comment tag is only something that you can see in the source file. You create you use this way. Is the left bracket, the exclamation sign, 2 dashes, and then to close the comment. So for example, here's hello. You can see that everything until line 11 is in comments. So I want to say that this is the header, introduction. This is my introduction. And then I close the comment with those 2 dashes and then the right sign. Perfect. So I will use the header here, and I will create another comment just for the work experience. And I will create a section tag here. Perfect. Then I will create another one for education and another section. And finally, one for contact information. Contact information. And we told that because the contact could be a section, but because this is the last one, we can use a footer to make make more meaning about that. So let me reload. This is what we have so far. Notice the use of comments. I like to use these comments here because, for example, even if the tag is called header, for my point of view, for my curriculum vitae, this is called as an introduction, or I can change the name to about me if you want to make more meaning. So the comment explains to me or fellow developers what this header tag contains, and the same with the work experience. These comments tell the developers, hey, this section is about my work experience. This section is about education. And in the footer, I will put the contact information. So let's start with, for example, let's add the subtitles. In this case, the title of my page is Eduardo Alvarez, literally. So I will put H1 Alvarez. Let's go to the left. Eduardo Alvarez. Perfect. I can make a subtitle. You have many choices to make the subtitle. You can you could use this one, but for me in this case, I would prefer to use the H2 for the sections here, just like we were looking in the thesis. Remember, we were using only the H1 for the main title of the web page, and then for each section we were using the heading 2, like in the example that I have. Oh, I deleted. I think I deleted, but I think it's in the memory. There you go, like this one. So don't put a subtitle as a H2. Do it like I'm doing here. So for example, in this case, I will put work experience, and in this one, I will put H2 education, and in this one, I will put H2 contact information. And let me save it. And now you can see Eduardo Alvarez. But hey, I wanted to put the word project designer. So how I do that? Let me, there's many ways. And in this case, I will use, for example, I will use a new tag. I will teach you a new tag is called BR. It's called breaking line. You don't see right now anything because this is a special tag that it only makes an enter space. It's like pressing enter on the keyboard. And here I will put a project designer. And there you go in the second line. But you will see that, hey, this has a different design. Number one, this one is in black and in bold. And this one is in uppercase and it has a gray color. So tomorrow or the next day in CSS, we're gonna see how to actually change the color of this particular element. Right now, I will just put it here in a span tag. The span is only, remember, it's a container tag. It doesn't convey any meaning. I just put in this small border. So tomorrow, with thanks to CSS, I will tell the machine to everything that is inside this purple border, I want to become uppercase and painted in gray. And then everything that is inside the header will become central as well. So that's why we're using this grouping tags. And if I save, I think that the machine will allow me to actually put it. I can organize the code and press and enter here. And I can put this one here as well. And let me just add one more space. There you go. So my H1 tag is contains all this information. Perfect. Now for the text that appears below this part, I will copy it and I will use the paragraph tag for each one because we have two paragraphs as well. So the first paragraph one, I just making the space, paragraph 1 and paragraph 2. And let's see how are we starting to build it. Okay, so we're starting to see the spaces. So now that you see that I created a paragraph just to leave a couple of space, I will just copy this one. I will not type because if I start typing, the tutorial will take a lot of time. So I will just copy paste. So I will reload and then you have the first one. And then the second one is the same. Let's go back and there you go. Now let's see how to make the image. That's the reason I left that one on purpose because it's a little bit trickier. So to use the image tag, the one that we were explaining right before the break, the tag itself is EMG. You don't write something here, like in the file here, and then close EMG here. No, this is not how it works. Actually, if you actually try to do that and save it, you will see just this random text. So to make the image tag works, let's go to our documentation. Just 1 second. Let me go to the documentation and read about it. I will go to my content tags and I will see that the image requires a source tag. So this is the file location. This is where my file is located. This is the name of the picture, and there is an alt tag. And you may ask, what is the alt tag? Because the first two are quite obvious. Like this one is where is the file in the hard drive or in the server. That's quite easy to understand. And the title is the title of the picture. Some pictures are has titles, for example, the Big Bang. There's many famous pictures. For example, I think that let me think about a famous picture. There is one picture of the American soldiers raising the flag in the World War II, and that has a special name. So yeah, there is pictures that actually are so famous that have a title. So this is the tag for the property. But what is the alt about? Well, the alt about is a description again for the screen readers. By screen readers, again, I'm speaking about people with disabilities, and they need to watch information on the to read allow the computer to read the information out loud. So the alt picture will actually describe what is happening on the screen. So let me look it up a quick example of the famous soldier raising flag. Let me see if I can find it in the first try. I think it was in Okinawa. Yeah, this one. He actually raised the flag on Iwo Jima. Okay, perfect. So this is the title of the image, raising the flag on Iwo Jima. This is the visual image itself. But imagine that you have a visual impairment, you're blind, literally blind. Raising the flag on Iwo Jima doesn't explain anything about the image itself. So in this case, if I go back here, this will be the title will be raising the flag, flag, and in this case, the alt tag. Let's describe the picture. The picture is we have 1, 2, 3, 4 soldiers, and we can say 4 soldiers raising the American flag, blah blah blah. So that will be the description. So if a person that is blind, the screen reading can use this one and explains 4 soldiers, 4 American soldiers, American soldiers raising the American flag after a battle in Midway. So yeah, this is a description of the image itself. I cannot force anybody to write every time the alt tag, but I just wanted to know what is for, and now trying to make understand what is so important for certain people to actually take time to write the alt tag. By the way, I actually do it every time that I need to write an image. I take my time because, as you just saw right now in the tutorial that we're making right now, it only takes you 15 seconds to see the picture and have a little bit of empathy and try to think about everybody else and write a little description about what is the picture, what appears on the picture in case somebody cannot see the picture. So yeah, that is the alt tag. So let's do that. In this case, the image is I need to put an image here. I will copy. Remember, I will go to my project CV index. I need to download the picture. Just to make the tutorial faster, I will download the picture from the project itself. Right click, save image as, and I will put it in the desktop and my documents. And this is my project folder, and I will put it here. I will create a image folder. Remember, or be organized, please. If we are talking about images, put it here, and I will call it avatar. Is okay. That's the name of the picture. Okay, weird name. So if I see now, we have the folder in Visual Studio Code, and if I double click, I can see the image. So perfect. With this explanation, we need three properties: source, we need the title, and we also need the all description. Let me see how the project is started to look now. Let me just go this one on the left. This small dot is gonna be a picture in a couple of minutes. That's the reason that we are using these training wheels, because if I delete this one and save, for example, you have no idea what is the image tag. The image tag just disappeared. But if we go back and I put the training wheels, you can start seeing what is so useful to have in this one. So first, I need the source, because the source is in my hard drive. I will put dot slash, and Visual Studio Code will show me the project structure. In this case, I want to enter the image folder, and there is autocomplete. Perfect. And I just select avatar PNG. The title, profile picture. And imagine that you can see already on the screen, but remember the alt tag. Imagine that somebody that is blind and never saw my face. Well, of course, literally never saw my face. So we need to describe. So we put literally Latin guy around 30 with a short beard, badly shaven beard. And if you want to be actually quite detailed, with a blue shirt. There you go. This is your alt tag. I know that it's not, it doesn't appear on the screen, but it helps people that cannot see the image understand what is there. So at least they have a little bit of imagination of what is the profile picture. Because if you repeat in the title, profile picture of what? Who is that? Is a woman? Is a man? Latin man, just to make it even more explicit. So that's why it's so important that never do that. Never put something super generic in alt. If you're gonna do that, please, and to be honest, it's better that just don't do anything. So use the alt to actually describe something. Imagine that you're describing something over the phone, and you use your keywords, your words to describe it. Yeah, use that for the alt tag, and this is for the title itself. So, well, we are starting to make the project a little bit closer to this one, of course, without design. So we have our header complete. So our header is complete. Now let's move to the section. Let's see how is the section working. We see that in the section we have 3 blocks. How to make these columns appear from left to right on this aligned horizontally. We're gonna do it with CSS tomorrow, and trust me, it's ultra easy right now in modern times to make that. But for now, we're gonna focus on the mobile experience, and everything will be appear one on top of one, each one below another. So let's start with these ones. We were, if we actually activate the training wheels in the final, forget about the training wheels. If you see this one, this is a section. We were talking about the article tag. Let me go back to the slides. Merge windows. Let me go to the article, and you can see a similarity over here. So this was the travel options as a section. I'm moving the screen around, and each particular item was an article. So if we go back to Visual Studio Code, we can see the same pattern here, that this one can be an article, this can be an article, and this one also can be an article. So let's write it just like that. Let me put this one here, and this will be my again, comments. I don't say that the comments are obligatory, are optional, but it's to try to be organized. So my first, let me put it in more context: the main job, and then a secondary job, and a secondary, and the third one, because you don't know if everybody has time to read your entire CV, so it's probably you probably want to put your best one first, just in case. So my main job, secondary or primary job, or highlighted, highlight like that job, and secondary and third one, yeah. So my I will start with let me go back here. Let me reload the page just to see. We are working the work experience, and we are gonna put the age. Sorry, no, we are not going to put the title right away. We wanna wrap it out in the article tag, just as I mentioned before. So we're gonna create an article tag for the first job, one for the second one, and one for the third. If I reload the page, now you can see thanks to the training wheels, now at least we are starting to place put the spaces that we're going to use in the future. If I comment out, if you want to comment something in Visual Studio Code, the shortcut is you press the command key and then press the slash key. So it will be this is the command plus slash. This will allow you to comment something real quick. So if I save, you can see how it is starting to look, and you don't see anything about the article tag. They're invisible because they are, remember, grouping tags. They don't show anything but themselves. They need to put, they're like folders, so to put information inside. So let me activate the training wheels again so we can at least say something. That's the reason, by the way, that in the training wheels, as I've totally forgot about mentioning this, in the training wheels, the elements that have display block are displayed in blue, and the ones that are span elements, the span elements means that the ones that occupy only the smallest space necessary are displayed with the purple border. And the container tags actually have this gray color, so you can see, just by guiding by the colors, you can see. If this is gray, it's a container tag. If this is blue, it's a content tag that has a display block. It means that it occupies the entire space of the web page. And if this is a content tag that is a span element, it means that only occupies the space that actually needs. Is a inline inline element. So let's continue. Let me add a title. This will be the first title. Because we are inside the section and the section already has a H2, the next level is obviously H3. Sorry, H3. And I mentioned that and I wrote the wrong one. So sometimes it happens. There you go. And there you go. I will delete the space. I will reload the page. Perfect. We have this one. This one can be written either as a span tag and the date. I will copy it. April 2015 to October 2017. I can reload the page. If I save, sorry, I need to save. And then you can see this one. With CSS, tomorrow we'll make it, the text field bolder, uppercase. I could just have done this April and then October. And then I will not need CSS. Why I don't do that? The reason is simple. Imagine that I write this all in uppercase, here, this one here, and then you present this to a client. For example, you're making a freelance job and you're actually making the CV for the client. And then he says, oh, I love the page, but I don't want the dates appear in uppercase. So you will need to go back to and each one April here, and then change this here, and then so on here, and so on here. And imagine that you have a page that have like 5 files, and then you need to go back in each one to make these small stupid changes. Using CSS, you can tell them, hey, I want that everybody that has is date related to be become uppercase at the same time. And we're gonna show you this one tomorrow, how to do it. So for now, I will not use uppercase at all because I will change the uppercase with the CSS tomorrow. And then I have a paragraph. Perfect. Let's see how it looks on the screen. So perfect. This is how it goes. And I actually start to make it faster. I can just copy and go here, paste it, and go here and paste it as well. If I reload the page, I can see that, and I only just need to, I now have the tags copied. I just need to just change the content. So for example, in the second one, I will change this one. Indent again, and then because I don't want to copy the uppercase, I will just write this one quite fast. 2011 to March 2012. Perfect. And now this one and this one. Perfect. Let me reload the page. Perfect. You can see the change, and let's go do the same with this one, with the third and final job. Now, again, I will not copy that one, and I can see that I actually forgot to update this one. So just to make it different, I will put I don't know. This is a copy paste mistake, and that happens when you do copy paste without thinking about that. So watch about that one. I will invent that it was March 11, whatever. And I will paste the description here. And then let me clear the tag. Let me clear all the spaces. There you go. So let me reload the page. We have the working experience done. I know that it's quite messy. It doesn't go with the 3 columns that you can see in the final project, but that is because we don't have the CSS yet. But on mobile phones, doesn't look that bad. Actually, you have the work experience quite well explained, and then you have this blog article, then you have this article and this article. So that looks nice. Perfect. Now let's continue. Okay, now we see a division line here. We have a tag just for that. So how do we do this division, this horizontal line? I will put a comment. Division line, and in parentheses, I will call him horizontal rule. Actually, this is the tag, it's HR. So if I put an HR tag and I save, and if everything goes well, yep, you can see a small line over here. And I can actually put it here as well, in between education and contact information. So I also have a division here. And I will delete this comment because once you will get used to this one, HR is quite easy to understand. You don't need to comment horizontal rule because you will know that HR means horizontal rule. So I can leave that without comments. Now let's go back to the curriculum and let's see how it goes. So this one is quite different to this one. This one, in this article in particular, is quite similar in format to this one. So I can copy paste in this one without any issues, but this one is different. So let's see how to do it. And this one is a bullet list. So let's see as well how to do it. So this is a little bit more tricky, but we're gonna do it step by step, don't worry. First in education, I will, let's see what something important is. We have higher education, we have voluntary work, and then we have related education or tertiary education. So let's put comments just to be organized. Higher education. We also have voluntary work. Now, it probably should not be an education, but it's related to Cotejo, so that's the reason I put it in real life. So, well, yeah, you can put it, for example, you can change this one for high school and school at the same time or whatever, or some workshops that you just run, assist or something like that, like the SDA. And this one will be complementary education. So yeah, please see how important it is to actually write comments. It allows you to much better understand the structure of your website without even reading code. So for example, if you show this to, for example, to a relative that doesn't know about coding, just seeing this page with the comments, it starts to make sense how is the code is organized. So yeah, this is what is important to use comments, guys, and that's the reason that David actually put an item in the evaluation process of adding comments, because it's quite important to have this information. So for this one, we can use an article. Everything can be an article. It's not the same kind of article that the other one, so I cannot copy it and paste. But this one, yes. Remember that this one is identical in format that this one, so I just can go back and copy this one and put it in the voluntary one. And I only need to change the text. So let's see, this voluntary work mentor as in Cotejo. Let's copy. Oh, sorry, I didn't copy. Copy. Command C, Command B, you know. And let me delete the space that it creates between. And then again, don't copy the uppercase text that will be made on CSS tomorrow until present. Let me copy this one. This time you see there is 2 paragraphs. So in the first one, I will copy only this one here. And I will delete this empty space. And then I will create a second paragraph for the second one. So this is the only difference that this one has in comparison to these ones. But as you can see, easy peasy to fix. And now let's do with this one that is a little bit more trickier. Let's see how it goes right now. Just 1 second. So we have the work experience, we have the education, we have the article with the voluntary work. Now let's focus on this article that is only about titles. So this one can be an article, and inside this article, this is a tricky one. You could put 1, 2, 3, 4 H3 tags. It will be valid. It will be confusing as hell. To be honest, the best way to do it is to use it's crazy, but hear me out. You can use a list and put information here, and then with the design, change it later. Just let me save it. Why I am using a list when I can use a H3? Because we are listing information. We are not creating a title for a section. Remember that a title, if I go back to my example of, I think I deleted, a title should be like the presentation before a paragraph. So if you are gonna put just titles without information, then that doesn't become a title anymore. That's the all information that you have. So semantically speaking, you can use this the list tags, and then use CSS to make it look like a title. I know it's a bit confusing, but I just something to remember by. But to make it easier this time, I will just use I will use the incorrect way on purpose right now, just to make it faster. Then tomorrow when we start doing CSS, I will come back and do a refactor and change these H3 tags to UL tags as it should be. Because once we have the design part, it will be it will be easier to explain why we're making these changes. So right now we're gonna do the quick and dirty span, and just due to because of time, I will just start making this faster like this one. But you can see that we're trying to have all the code at the same level, and it's to get a little bit messy. So that's why the UL tag was so useful. And in this one was this one. So I will copy one more time. And this will be the infographics technician, blah, blah, blah. And let's delete all the space here. Let's copy the text here. Remember that I'm copying this text as well. I will change it quite quickly. Up here. October, same here. And I see that this was a mistake. So it's April, let's say 16. 16 and it will be 15, 16, just to make it different. But yeah, that was a copy paste mistake. I will fix it later as soon as I arrive to the office. So April, October, and let's see how it looks. So yeah, it looks decent enough. Perfect. We can get by with this quick and dirty hack, but tomorrow with CSS we're gonna make it actually how it should be using the URL tags. Because remember, from the point of view of semantics, a title should have some text below that. Otherwise, it's not a title, it's just a list item. So let's go back to this one. And in complementary education, we're going to create another article just for this one. We're going to create this one, related education. This one we'll write it by hand to make it easier. Related education. Perfect. Now we have the special title books span. Remember, I don't want to use H3. Sorry. I don't want to use the H3 because for me, the heading tags should be if I'm gonna break it into another section, but because it's part of the same education, related education, it's just a decoration that I just put in a new line. I will use the span tag, just like I did in the header, to just to write the word books, and then with CSS I will change the design later. So I have the books. So remember, use the heading tags if you're actually explaining about a particular section. So for example, here is the section, and you have the work experience. So this is the type heading 2 because it's related to the section, and this one is the description. And this is the heading 3 because it's the title of this article. But because this article already has the title here, this is only a decoration. I will use the span tag instead of the title tag. And now we have a couple of bullet points, and the bullet points are done with, remember, even if you can actually make this directly, please don't do that. Use the grouping tag UL so you can write your bullet points better. So I have four bullet points, so I will create 4 copies. 1, 2, 3, 4. I will save it. And you can see the list item, and you can see that they take the entire space. So I can go back and say, I have read this book. I never finish it, to be honest. I need to do that. This one, yeah, it's quite important. The next one is super important for anybody that is in entrepreneurship. Like it really is super, super, super fucking good. So it's really recommended by everybody. The Stitch of Biography, and the last book is a programming book, of course, because it's a curriculum vitae about a developer. So a developer book, yep, and there you go. You have the order list. So let's see so far how it is starting to look. This is the information. I know that it's ugly in comparison to this one, but remember, this one has the graphic design on top of that. It's an additional layer. But from the structural point of view, this one is quite well organized. You have a header, you have a section for the work experience, thanks to the title. You have another section for the education, and a title, of course. You have individual articles for each blocks. This was for higher education. This was for voluntary work, and this was for related education. And finally, let's build the contact information. Something important here. You can see that the contact information has 4 links. And each link, well, at least the first 3 links behave different between each other. That's number 1. And number 2, they have a nice icon. We can add the icon today and then actually make it look even better tomorrow with CSS. And let's check the links. They have something special properties. If I open the third one, the LinkedIn profile, it opens a link. That's normal. And this is the sign up page to view the profile because I haven't logged in Chrome. It's okay. But if I open it in Safari, I have my login credentials over there. Copy. If I open this one in Safari where I'm logged in, oh, one second, copy link. copy link address, sorry. If I copy the link address, I can go to LinkedIn and see my profile in the same picture. Yeah, okay. But let's see the second link. The second link will behave different. If I click the second link, instead of opening a web page, you can see jumping my mail icon. And you can actually tell the machine that you can make a link that opens an email automatically. We're gonna see that right now. And don't save. And the third one is the best one. If you actually try this one on the cell phone, you can actually start a phone call immediately. So actually, you can see that Chrome is trying to make a call using FaceTime. I will say no, but you can do that as well. So let's build this part of the information. Let's go back to Visual Studio Code. Let's go to this one. And this one, hey, looks like besides the even if there is no bullet points like this one, you can see that there are individual items. So you can get by if we use the UL tag and put a list item, this item, this item, 4 of them. And let's see, we create this. Let me save it. Sorry, let me save it. And you can see that we created a space for the list items. Let me close my email provider. Okay, and now we're gonna start to make the links. We need to make the links. So let's start with these two that are easy. They're easy ones. Let's start from. We're gonna start from bottom to top this time. I want to add comments because each link has a different functionality. I will put this one normal link to Git. I will put a comment as well. Normal link to LinkedIn profile, because it's not to LinkedIn web page, it's to LinkedIn profile. And this is a comment, a special link to contact me via email. That's a special link because it has special behavior. And this is a special link to call me on my phone. Perfect. So now I have this, I have broken down this a little bit better. And inside the link tag, remember you can nest tags. So in this case, I will put the hyperlink tag. Remember that the hyperlink is the A, not the link one. Remember, you use the link when you want to import files, and if you want to create links, you use the A. Again, sorry for the confusion, but somebody was super intelligent but super stupid at the same time when they create the name of the tags. So the A tag, in this case, is phone, 2 colons, and the area code for the 672-947 space 8014.
I think you were doing GitHub at the bottom.
Oh yes,
First.
I do. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah.
And you see that because you were seeing the comments. Thank you so much. So yeah, I will put. I will forget about that one, and I will go with this one first. Thank you so much, Christian. So yeah, let's go first with Git. I will put this one, tinycc/Eduardo. If you ask what is tinycc, is let me open tinycc right now. Tiny. Let me see how it is written. 1 second. It's tiny with this one. Tiny.cc. This is a URL shortener. So if you have a long link, for example, if I open the GitHub link, is actually the real link is bitbucket.org/%7bc. Yeah, good luck with somebody trying to write that error. So yeah, it's better to just using a sorry, let me open this one again. It's better to copy the link, put it in a website like this one here, and I will make, for example, GitHub GitHub profile. You can write something here, and then the link will become tinycc/GitHub profile. So it's easier to, in case that you decide to, somebody decides to print your web page CV, want to enter a link, it's much better to use these ones instead of the full links. Same thing with the LinkedIn, by the way. So let's do that. I will write, I wrote the text inside the tags. I will close this one. I will reload the page and I can see the link, but if I pass the mouse, I cannot do anything. And why not? Let's go to the documentation, that we have here in the platform. You can see that you need two tags to make the link work. The first, two properties inside the tag to make it work. The first property is the href. Remember, href is hyperlink reference. This is the correct name of a link. And I think that's the reason that the head tag is called link, because the people that invented the standard, they say, no, there is no confusion. Hyperlinks and links are totally different, but normal people you never hear people calling these things hyperlinks. Everybody says links, and that's the confusion with the head tag. So yeah, something to take to consider by. So okay, the href is where do you want to link to? In this case, to external website. And the second one, that is called target, is allows you to decide. Sometimes you see in the web that you click a link, and the new link open in the same page. Sometimes open in a new tab, and sometimes opens as a pop-up. So you can decide that by using this. I think it's self for the same window, blank for a new tab, and let's just do whatever the real developer does when he forgets about something in real time. So let me put a target blank to see the new window, target blank. Target attribute, perfect. So remember, if you forget something, don't stress out. Even if you're doing a live class, just open Google and just do it without shame. So yeah, there you go. Self, if you want to open the link in the same one, and we're gonna experiment with the three ones right now. Don't worry. Blanks open a new window. This one is in the same window. These ones are deprecated. There was long time ago, there was something called iframes that allow you to put a web page inside a web page. And if you can hear what I'm saying about, I'm saying loading a web page inside another web page. You can imagine how messy that should be. That was the old way to make web pages as well. So these tags are quite old, and they were using to tell, hey, I don't want to open this link inside the main web page. I want to open it inside the small web page that is inside my web page. Can you understand how confusing is that? So you needed tags just to try to solve that mess. I will not teach how to do that because that's the old school that nobody does anymore. And I will be making a harm if I try to teach that old way, because that will lead to really messy code. So let's forget about these ones and only focus on this one. And we're gonna see how they work right now. So first, I'm gonna put the target. The target is, let me see. My target is not this word. The target is the real link here. Let me see, is this one, Bitbucket. So the target is this one. And let me just, to make it easier to see, I will put it in a new line. Actually, just so to make it easier to see on the screen, I will just use this link. I will use the small one. It actually works, by the way. So I will use this one. HTTPS. Let me see if it works in open. Yep, it works. Perfect. So I use the target, and sorry, this is the href. Sorry, the hyperlink reference, and this one is the target. Now let's experiment with the two to see the difference. I'm gonna put this one here. I'm gonna indent here, 1, 2. And let me close the tag just to make it a little bit more organized. So, okay, let me save this one. Let me reload the page, the curriculum. This one is not the one that we are doing. Just let me open Finder. I think I closed it. Rebuilding Finder. Open with Chrome. There you go. So now, right now, we are targeting the link to the GitHub profile, and we are using the target blank. So let's put it on full screen. And when I click, it opens a new tab. If I switch to self, I save it, reload the page, and cross the fingers. This will, let me put it on the full screen. This will replace the web page that we're doing right now. So you can see, instead of opening a new tab, you are going to a different, you are replacing the page. Which one you should use? It's quite easy. If you are linking to an external website, use target blank. If you are targeting a web page inside your own website, use the self one. So for example, let me do something real quick. So for example, I will create a new file super quick. Let's say that this is a portfolio. That's a nice idea. Probably next year we're gonna expand this project to, and I will go super quick. Head title. I'm going super speed right now because this is something that you can see when we watch the video. Portfolio, and then super fast body, and this is H1 folio. And imagine that we have something here, blah, blah, blah. And I will put we're gonna link back between the portfolio and the main page. So I will put I will put the go back to CV. And I will put here, now I will put the hyperref. Instead of linking to the external website, I start with HTTP // I will point to the index. And to do that, I press the dot slash, and I choose index. And I will tell the machine that I want to open in the same window, so the target will be self. Let me just organize a little bit better so you can make it easier to see. Target, and then 1, 2, go back. So I will open this one in Safari as well. Rebuilding Finder, portfolio, open with Chrome. Perfect. So this is the portfolio someday, and I go back to the CV, and then you go back to the CV. So this is how you make links inside your project. By using the HTTP, you go to external links. So remember, external links are always paired with the target blank. It's not a rule, by the way, but it makes sense because you don't want people to get outside of your website. You want they stay on your website. So for external links that start with HTTP, go with blank. And for internal links that stay in your website, use self. Easy peasy. Now let's go back to the coding part of the tutorial. So we have the first link. Our first link is working, perfect. There is no signs about this one. Let's copy it because it's the same stuff here with the LinkedIn profile. Only instead of linking to GitHub, we'll go to LinkedIn. And for this one, I don't have a short URL, so because they see, I think the security check is because they see opening a browser and they see suspicious activity. So let me open the link in Safari only. History, LinkedIn profile. So this is my profile, LinkedIn. Copy it. There you go. This is my link. So I go back to this one. So I will change the hyperlink reference to this one. And instead of saying GitHub, I will say LinkedIn. I will just copy this one because I'm lazy. I just literally will copy paste. And we're going to add the icons a little bit later. Don't worry about that. Let me save. And there you go. We have the link. Now let's do these special links. First, let me copy the tags. I will put it in space. I will do the same here. Yeah, 1 second. Okay, what? Let me go here. Yes, let me move out real quickly. There you go. So, okay, now this one is for the phone. Now we're gonna copy the phone. Thank you for the reminder earlier before. So this one is gonna go this, and this one's gonna be the email. Eduardo A@cotejo.he. Right now, I only have changed the text. They actually, if you click it, they will open the GitHub profile because this is where the hyperlink reference is pointed at. For these ones, we drop the target entirely. And the email is super easy. You just write, instead of a HTTPS, you go mail to colons, and then copy paste the same email address that you see here. And that's it. If I cross the fingers and everything is okay, I click here, and yeah, it's started to open. And there you go. You can send an email and you can confirm that the link is correct because it's sending it to Eduardo H. KTH. Perfect. Beautiful. So that was super easy. And how do we do this one? Is actually the very same. I think it's fun. Oh no, sorry, it's tel. I think it was tel, and then you just write with the area code. So for example, you need to put the full area code for. So even for example, if you say, oh no, my contacts only are from Sweden, so I don't need to write in the link. I don't need to put the 46 in the text. So for example, I reload the page. I just can put it like this, or I just put it here because everybody understands the number. No, you need to put the full area code in the href, so the machine understands which country you're trying to dial. And if everything goes okay, actually, I think this was the other way around. In this one, you actually remove these ones, and you can keep these ones here. Spaces. There you go. So you can make it look a difference. And if everything goes okay, yeah, it's trying to make a phone call. Perfect. So remember, these two special links, the email and the telephone doesn't have a target because they don't target the browser. That's the reason they don't have a target, because they don't target browser. The email one targets your email app, whatever you have installed, and it works on the mobile phone, by the way. You can open your default mobile app. And this one, in a computer, will try to make either a video call, or if you're on a Mac and you also actually have an iPhone, you can they will make the call on your phone directly because it's super well connected. But if you open this one on any phone, even if it's an Android or iPhone or Windows Mobile, even Blackberries if they still are around, you can make a phone call directly using these ones. So yeah, we actually complete the CV without design, and it was quite fast. Well, we actually went a little bit overboard. I just saw that we should have finished at the 11th. We were past 14 minutes. So I will ask a question. Do you prefer to end for today and we do the upload the website tomorrow? Or do you want to do the upload?
Let's upload. Let's do it.
Everybody agrees?
Yeah. Wait.
Yeah.
Hey, nice. I like the spirit. So okay, let's upload this CV to a real website. Perfect. So how we're gonna do it? I'm gonna drop right now because I will not modify the code anymore. I want to go to Safari. I want to switch browsers because I don't have any login credentials in my Chrome, by the way. So how we do it? We are gonna use a service called Firebase. Liv, you are probably super happy about this one. We're gonna enter Firebase. What is Firebase? Let's do a quick introduction. Firebase is a service by Google that is called backend as a service. I should not enter into the backend part of the module because that's a domain, but let's explain what is backend as a service. Well, building backends is a pain in the ass. You're gonna see that in 2 weeks and you will suffer a lot. Sorry to be so honest, but that's the reality. Making backends is a tedious experience. So Google say, hey, every time that we create a project, we spend months building a backend. To be honest, even if they're the same task, like for example, sending an email, it's the same task over and over again. Can be a way to actually automatize the process and make it easier, and they do it by building Firebase. And then somebody even more intelligent say, hey, if the service is that good, why don't you sell it? And congratulations, you have a backend as a service. So literally, Google has a service that allows you to use their own backends with predefined functionality that is super easy to use. So we're going to use that one to host our services. So in this case, you enter firebase.google.com. If you don't have a Google account, you need to create one, but it's free. You know that it's free. So if you log out, if I log out, let me log out, so you can see the page as the first time that you see it. This is the first time, and it says go to console. If you click to go to console, I will actually prompt out to sign in. So I will sign in my Cotejo, with my Cotejo account. I put my password, and then I will go to the console. So perfect. And in the console, you can see the project. And actually, you can see the same project that we're going to build right now, but we're going to do it from scratch. So you press this big, super big button called Add Project. So I press Add Project. It says, please put a name for your project. So in this case, we'll put curriculum Vitae. Because in the last iteration, I didn't put a number. That's the reason that you saw the number floating around. This will be SDA 8. Then you press continue. This is the name, the machine name that it will you will have. Don't worry about this part. For this part, you don't need to worry at all. Just focus on putting a nice name so you understand what is the project about. Press continue. It will ask you, we were talking about with Lucas a couple of minutes hour ago, hey, do you want all the tracking information of Google? It's free. Okay, yes, you can choose to enable or disable. I will allow it to give it to you. The next step is this is asking what is your Google account. The reason that it's asking that in case that you choose Google Analytics is because you may work for a company that handles multiple clients, and multiple clients have different Google Analytics accounts. So the question is, which account do you want? Just choose default if you don't know anything about that. So don't complicate. But the question here is, in case that you are working for a marketing company and you're working with multiple clients, they probably have their own Google Analytics account. So it allows you to choose which one you want. But this is not our case. Just go with default. Don't complicate. Don't press create a new account. Don't mess it up. Go with default. And then create project. And let's wait a couple of minutes. So we are building, if you're keeping track of time, we are building a backend, an entire backend, literally in around 30 seconds. Ayhan will teach you how to make the same thing in 2 weeks. So you can see how cool Firebase it is. And by the way, it's free for your first 10,000 users. So keep that number in mind. It means that you can actually run a small business with this Firebase thingy for free. And when you reach 10,000 users, come on, you're making money. So at that point, you can start paying to Google back. So I will not even see the price tables because this is out of scope. But as you can see, it's amazing. By the way, quick thing, the prototype of the SDA was built in 1 weekend using Firebase. And then the real project took us 4 months to build. So okay, you press continue, and you can see your services. I want to cover only the hosting part because this is the only one that we're gonna cover today, hosting the website. But I think that we're going to have, if we manage to have the time, in the next week, we're going to have an optional lecture only for Firebase. And we're going to see authentication. So you can create a login system with Facebook, Google emails. You can log in via text messages or even Apple Pay. So it's super complete without coding experience at all. You have two types of databases. You have two types of storage information. We're going to use this one for now. You have cloud functions. We're going to see what is that when we reach JavaScript. And you have machine learning algorithms for free. And there is even more services, by the way. But right now, we're going to focus on hosting. So click on hosting. And I'll explain all the features. You have a tutorial here, so I can close the tutorial right now and say press play, but I am not that addict. I really hate that figure out on your own. So now let's go step by step. Press get started. And there you go. This is why it takes a little bit of time. You need to install npm first. You already with Kavana install npm, so you already have a node package manager. So let me go from the top, sorry. Kavana last week told you to install Node, and Node is for running JavaScript in the desktop outside of the browser. And when you install Node, something else was installed called the Node Package Manager. So you already have this one installed. What this line of code is trying to tell you is that, hey, we need to install a plugin called Firebase Tools. Firebase Tools is a plugin that will allow you to connect to Firebase using the terminal. So let's copy this one. I think I already have this one in my computer. If you want to open the terminal, you can do it inside Visual Studio Code. So by pressing on the bottom of the screen and go terminal. So you don't need to open a new terminal in a different window, and just paste the command npm install Firebase Tools. Press enter. And wait a little bit. This computer is old. That's the reason that when I press enter, nothing happens for a couple of seconds. So it will install the plugins. I think I already have it, but it's okay. Let's see. Let's wait a little bit of time. It doesn't take that long, anyways. Meanwhile, it's installing. Let me read what it means. What the rest means. Let me see. Does this one also show me? Okay. Also show me the steps to add Firebase, blah, blah, blah. It throws an error. I think it's because I need to, this error runs, and the error is about access. You need to use sudo and beforehand. Sudo means that you are requesting administrator level access. You put your password. The password will not appear at all here, and then you can install it. It will take a couple of seconds. Let's hope. And meanwhile, inclusive blah, blah, blah. So this one is if you want to install additional tools. Right now we are focusing only on the hosting, so we don't check this one, and we go to the next step. But first, let's wait until this one is installed. If an error mistake appears again, we're gonna skip that one because I have already the tools installed in my computer. I'm pretty sure about that. I'm pretty sure that I have it. So let's see. There you go. Looks like it's working. Building, rebuild. There you go. It says that we have installed successfully this one, and there is a new version, blah, 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 but we don't care about that. So we can press the next button with confidence. And the next command in the terminal is Firebase login. And what is Firebase login? It's quite simple. Remember that when you create the hosting, you needed to create an account with Google. So we're going to link this account with that one. I press Firebase login, and it says that I can already log in as Eduardo A. Alcotejo. If I am not logged in, I will not log out because I don't remember my Cotejo password, to be honest. But if you're not logging, but if you're logging for the first time, it will ask you, what is your email? And remember, you put the same email that you used to create the Google Firebase account. And in the password, you use the same password that you use for that Google email. So that's easy. If you have a personal email account, a Gmail account, you use that to create the Google Firebase account, and then you use the same password. And don't worry, this is Google, so they already know your password, so don't worry about that. And finally, the last step is Firebase init. And what is Firebase init? The first one is to log in to know which users belong this one to. Firebase init is initialize the Firebase project. So I started to initialize the project. I press that one. And it showed me this one. I will go to full screen to make it easy to see. And you can see this big banner, welcome to Firebase using Axial Art. And it tells you what service do you want to use. You have the database, the first database system, the second database system, the cloud functions, the hosting, the storage, two hosting options. I'm going to explain that one in an optional lecture. And please remember, it's an optional lecture. You don't need this to graduate for the SDA. I only do it because I think it's super cool. But if you're struggling with your projects next week, you don't need to assist to the optional lecture. Please give priority to the project instead of the optional lectures. But anyways, you scroll down with the keyboard, the up and down arrow, and then to select this one, you use the space bar. So I press the space bar, and you can see that the green dot pops up, and press enter. And then it asks you another question. Hey, this looks like the to-do list project, right? It's a command line interface. So yeah, even the best developers as Google still use this one from time to time. So you will tell them, I use an existing project. And it will show all the projects that you have right now. And this is the one that we just created, Curriculum Vitae SD88. You don't need to press space, you just go entering these ones. And it will start asking a bunch of questions. In this case, it will ask you, do you want to use, what do you want to use as a public directory? And in parentheses, it says public. Let me explain this. Right now, the project that we were building, right now we only, if we go to the hard drive, my hard drive in the computer, I have a folder called CD, and then all my files are floating around in this one. Google doesn't like that. Google Firebase wants only one, it wants to upload one single folder inside your project, and outside that file, outside that folder, it wants to install a couple of Firebase files. So we are going to comply to Google, and we're going to follow their way, and we're going to create a public folder. We are in the Mac, public folder. You can see that it appeared in Visual Studio Code, and we're going to move everything inside here. So we're going to move the index. Oh, the portfolio, by the way, I will delete it because that was a quick example. But I want to move the index inside the public folder, and I want to move my image to the public folder. I will double check if the image is still linking correctly. I will open this in the Finder. I will open it. Yeah, the image is still linking to the correct file. I just want to double check. So I will tell Google, yes, okay, use the public folder as the folder that you will upload. So basically, what you're trying to say is everything that is inside the public folder will be uploaded to the Google Firebase. So for example, if you have an Excel spreadsheet with your project documentation, and you don't want to put the documentation over there in Google Firebase, you put it outside the public folder. And then it is asking you a question. Basically, a single page application is something that we're gonna see in the detail in React. So I will not explain this one right now, but in parentheses, you see a hint that says basically, hey, do we focus on the index HTML as, do we want to change all files to index.html? You say no, because when we do React later, we don't open the project using index.html. We open it by using something called app.js. So right now we'll say no. We don't care about React or this kind of stuff. So we just say no and forget about that question. Do you want to upload the project right now to Git? No. Okay. there is a file called index.html already in the project. Do you want to overwrite it? No, no, we don't want to overwrite it. So we say no. So we press N and press no. So they send me information, blah blah blah. So we didn't delete the index HTML file, blah 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 blah. GitHub blah 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 configuration. We are ready. So let's go back here and go to the next step. You just completed the step number 2, the command line interface. And then the last step is Firebase deploy. That will put everything inside the public folder inside the web server. So let's do that one. Cross our fingers and see what happens. It's a little bit slow, have patience. There you go, it started to upload the files. And look, you can see, hey, you can see the files that I was telling you about. This is the files that Firebase needs to install, and these files need to be on the same level as the public one. So that's the reason that Google is asking you, please put me a public folder. Don't forget about this step. This step is super important because otherwise nothing will be uploaded at all. And says deploy complete. You can open this web page to see your profile, your web page. So you can enter curriculum vitae .sda.web app, and you can see your web page. Perfect. If you want to make it, appear, you can shorten the link by using TNCC, and instead of using, I will quick this, and instead of using this web link .sda.web app, I can put like Eduardo. And that's what I did in my original CV last year. And that's it. Congratulations, you just uploaded a website in Firebase. I also teach you how to make the link shorter. So yeah, we only took 3 hours. But to be honest, I prefer to take 3 hours than to start skipping lessons. So I will take just 5 more minutes to finish the slides that we didn't finish covering because we were about here. Don't worry, we were actually right before the end. So we saw the canvas. We already saw this one. This is the interactive tags. We're gonna see these ones in detail on the JavaScript part, but basically these tags are for the formulary. You can see the input box and a button. And when a user press the button, an event trigger happens and it connects to your JavaScript file. So that's how we are gonna do this in detail in the JavaScript part of the course. I just want to give you a quick overview that these HTML tags, and the interactive tags are the button, the radio. So the radio one is to pick between one of multiple options. For example, this one, I can put a label on top and say, which kind of meat do you prefer? I prefer beef over chicken. And then the check mark for the checkboxes, and then the select an option. These ones are actually 2 tags. If I click on the select drop down, you can see the options below. So it's a combo box. And finally, the input box to write data, for example, the email field, your password, and so on and so forth. We are gonna see the code from these ones when we reach JavaScript, because if we start writing HTML code about these ones, and then you don't know how to connect them using JavaScript, it will be a waste of time. So we're gonna go back to this particular slide, I think on Wednesday. And finally, this is one, that was my bad. I forgot to show you this slide before we code the CV project. You have the horizontal rule, remember, HR. This one we use inside the heading tag to make the second line project designer. And these are the comment tags that we use along the projects. And then, well, we are not gonna see an example anymore. We already see how to upload the website. We just finished this one. We're about to finish. So what's next? This is the last slide, guys. Okay, forget about the first point because I cannot do it in my computer. I will do that tomorrow with you guys. I will get back to the first point. But the live server plugin, if you want to experiment on your own, it's a nice plugin that allows you to, each time that you save your project, your web project, the page will reload automatically. So you don't need to save the project like I was doing and then reload the page manually. So this saves a lot of time. I tried to install it, but didn't work in my computer. So I will try to do it again tomorrow in the computers of the SDA and make it work. Well, the second task for the afternoon is check the cheat sheet, the one that we were checking all this time for reading about the tags. You have all the tags that we use in the CV project here. So please do that. Start experimenting. You saw the tutorial right now. As soon as I get back to the SDA, I will open the computer over there that is more powerful, and we'll split out this video into sections. So you can go, for example, only to the web part, only to the tutorial, blah blah, and so on and so forth. But try to start experimenting by using the cheat sheet. Try to make the CV on your own, and try to go as far as possible. If you get stuck, I will upload the Git repository later. Don't worry about that. And if you finish the CV, try to upload the website using Firebase. I will upload that one because you probably need to remember the steps. So don't worry about that one. I will upload that one. And finally, try to make a simple table. We didn't see the table tag, but you can Google about the table tag in Google. Remember, I did that during the tutorial live to remember the target blank. So just literally Google HTML table tag. Always use this resource from DoubleTree School. This is super good. It's super nice. Learn about this tag. You can see an example here, and try to build something like this one. This is the champions of the drivers of the Formula One. A quick tip, by the way, you can actually use emojis inside the HTML. If you want to use emojis in your Mac, just press Control Command space, and just put Germany, and you have emojis. Remember, the command is Control plus Command plus spacebar. So Control Command Space opens this command, and you can put. So you can. There is no excuse. You can learn about the table on your by researching. This one is a little bit tricky, and that's the reason I send you as on purpose. You can see there is a lot of nesting here. You have a table tag that inside has a TR tag. You can read what is the TR tag below here, and inside here there is another tag. And then they have a table rule for this one and this one. So read about the table tag and try to make this example. Remember, you have the emojis. This one, actually, you can see that the cell is merged between this one. Forget about that one. Yeah, forget about this one. You can focus, for example, Michael Schumacher, 7 titles. Niki Lauda, 3 titles. Nelson Piquet, also 3 titles. You don't try to merge the tables because that's a little bit too advanced right now. Ayrton Senna, Shane, 3 titles only as well. And another column for the seasons. Try to do as much as possible on this one. And I will be as a normal TA on the afternoons, but try to do as much as possible of this one. And that will be it for today. So this is the homework. Thank you so much for listening for me for 3 hours. I will try to see tomorrow if I try to shorten it, use the days of buffers. So yeah, we'll try to improve the timings on this one. So thank you so much, and see you tomorrow as a lecture. Today there is no an optional lecture at all. I will start tomorrow with the optional ones, but I will be hanging around in the afternoon as a TA. So see you.
Thanks, Eduardo.
Thanks.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks
Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Thanks,
Bye.
Eduardo. Bye-bye.
Bye.